Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
McDavid hits 100 assists, first player since Lemieux to do it. I asked your boy Gregor this a while back, if McDavid goes on the Rushmore of Oilers. Dickie, you can only have 4 faces on there. Is he on there yet, or does he have to win a Stanley Cup?
I think he's on there right now. Yeah, I'm putting him on. I don't think he has to win a Stanley Cup. It would be great, and it's an automatic. But the things, again, what he does, performing at the level he does, at the speed he does, we've never seen it before. He is head and shoulders above, in my opinion, anyone in the league right now when he's on top of his game. He's so fast. He can handle the puck at that level, at that speed. So I say he's on that Rushmore right now.
Who else?
Well, I mean, obviously Gretzky, Messier. If you're going to have McDavid on there, it's probably somewhere close between a Grant Fuhr and Glenn Anderson for me.
And you could put a Slats on there, a Paul Coffey.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
I'm excited. I am buying tonight, meeting a guy on the concourse at the Panthers game. I've had my eye on this for a while to buy one of those baby blue reverse retro jerseys. I thought they would have them forever and found out it was a one-season thing. Last year, it's baby blue Panthers with the red and gold shoulders, palm tree on the front. Guy said it's too big for him. I'm like, I'll take it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it is. Hi, welcome, welcome. Why do I open the show without my bell? Here it is. Hope you're ready to have fun. That's what we do every day on Canada's daytime sports talk show that also airs in 31 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network. I'm here in South Florida. Yeah, I got my jersey. We're going to talk about that. I had a very great night and a great day. Every day's a great day, as our friend Brent Kaminsky likes to say. Let's bring in the Moose. Hey, Moose, I hope you're ready to have fun. I know that you are. On the program today, we've got Alan May, Washington Capitals TV analyst. His Caps are going to the playoffs. And Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League Commissioner Kyle McIntyre is going to be joining us later on in hour 2. He speaks for all of Canadian Junior A hockey. I'm not sure that he knows that he does, but as far as I'm concerned, he does. So he's going to give a Junior A hockey report across all of the country. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll just get down to business.
How about that?
Thank you. We're going to quit. We're going to quit Mickey Mouse and get down to business. The fun thing, I did get my jersey, Darren, and you know what? Right out of the chute, maybe we can get to the bottom of something right now. I paid, I'm not going to say how much, but enough. Below market value, I would say, for this Alexander Barkov reverse retro jersey of the Florida Panthers. Met a guy in the concourse, not going to name him. Found him in the Panthers Facebook group. Exchanged money, great guy. Stopped and showed it to a lot of other Panthers fans that were wearing one of these types of jerseys. We compared the stitching, the numbers, because I didn't want to get ripped off. I didn't want it to be a Chinese knockoff. And they're like, no, this is good. You're legit, bro. You're good to go. Everything's the same. I couldn't have been happier about it. And some guy just wrote into the Twitter, the Cats and Bolts podcast, and said, hope you didn't pay a lot for it because it's a Chinese knockoff, the ones that are made in China and sold for $20. And I'm like, how do you know? How it feels real? I've felt those fake jerseys. It doesn't feel like that. How do you know what's legit and not? And by the way, I don't feel bad because I was buying the real thing, and I think that it is. How do you know whether it's not?
I don't know. I mean, other than, when it's really bad, you can just tell, look, feel, the stitching, all the rest. You've seen some of those logos that are actually backwards because they make the mistake, all the rest. But if it looks good, if it looks real, if it feels real, if you think it's real, then what's the big deal? It's not like you're putting it up for auction or putting it in the Smithsonian.
quacks like a duck. Yeah, no, we're going to hang it on the set of the Cats and Bolts podcast. I'll wear it on special occasions. And by the way, we're in the middle of a holy war here, which we'll get to. Can you hit the horn again, Jordan? We'll start over. We'll refresh this. Thank you.
Hoorah!
I just had to get that story out of the way. So the big story is obviously what's going on in the NHL. NHL leftovers from last night. Yuri Schmeichel scored his first career goal midway through the second period, and Jacob Chikrin scored again for Ottawa less than a minute later, and the Senators beat the Boston Bruins 3-1 Tuesday night in the regular season finale for both. The Bruins led the Florida Panthers by a point entering Tuesday night's play. All they needed was a point to clinch first, but they blew back-to-back chances to clinch the division by getting shut out by Washington 2-0 Monday, and then the loss to the Senators last night. Who loses to the Senators? And then the Panthers, which I'll get to, beat the Leafs 5-2 last night to give them first place and set up a meeting, the Battle of Florida in round one. Look, we all went into the rink last night at American Bank Arena expecting two things. Austin Matthews, we're going to watch him chase goal number 70, and then this will be a playoff preview, Panthers and Leafs. Neither happened. Matthews didn't score, and now the Leafs and Panthers aren't meeting in the playoffs. So just hang on. You can tell I'm fired up to talk about that. Elsewhere, TJ Oshie scored into an empty net in a tied game as Washington beat Philadelphia 2-1 to clinch a spot. Torts, in a tie game, had to pull his goalie because he knew they had to win to even have a shot at making the playoffs, and it didn't happen. In Montreal, Patrick Kane scored the shootout winner in a Detroit win over Montreal in their regular season finale, but the Wings were eliminated from playoff contention. And to be honest, if you want to talk about what Patrick Kane's going to do next, everybody's free to do that in the comment section here. Discuss it amongst yourself. I just don't care about that right now because Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart scored 10 seconds apart midway through the second period, and the Florida Panthers beat Toronto 5-2. We've discussed what that meant. It clinched first for the Panthers, their second time in the last 3 years, and they'll meet Florida in round one. Toronto's locked into the Atlantic Division's third seed. It'll play Boston in the first round of the playoffs. And just a couple other games for our viewers because we're very big in Winnipeg and Seattle. Kyle Connor scored twice, and Tyler Toffoli broke a third period tie to lift Winnipeg to a 4-3 win over the Kraken. And in Vancouver, Tyler Myers had a goal and an assist. Thatcher Demko stopped 39 shots in his return from a knee injury, and Vancouver beat Calgary 4-1. And this isn't a footnote. It clinched a Pacific title for the Canucks. They're getting a banner there. And soon, Rick Tocchet will get a plaque for his mantle for NHL Coach of the Year. It's happening. So, listen, it's the Rod Pedersen show, so I'll go first, and then I want your take. I assume you watched the Leafs game. I go down and I watch the warm-up because I'm big on that. And I'm like, the Leafs are having fun. They're a different team from a year ago. Ryan Reeves and Mitch Marner are banging against the glass. Everybody's laughing. It's all jokes. There's smiles. I'm like, oh, boy, they're not robots and wound up. They're very relaxed. And you should play the game relaxed and having fun. You should. You should do everything having fun. But then I go up to the press box, and I'm like, what's Max Domi doing up here in street clothes? What's Mark Giordano doing up here? They're not hurt, are they, Darren?
I think a little tweaked up. It's more not a question of are they going to play in the playoffs, but I think they're resting some of those guys that aren't 100%.
Totally fine. You do you. But I was like, they're not taking this game that seriously. And then they jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Did you watch the game? Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah.
What did you think of that cool little Austin Matthews pinball in his own zone off the corner right into his own slot, giving a scoring opportunity to, I can't remember if it was Sam Bennett or Carter Verhaeghe. I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm.
He was turning back, and I think he was trying to, play it off the backboards behind the net and out the other side, and he just spun and did it so fast that he off the boards right out in front, and Mike Johnston, your boy, Mike Johnston on the air. Yeah. Did you hear this? Were you watching? Because he goes on the air, and literally the puck's not out of Matthews' stick. It's off the boards, and Johnson cuts off Gord Miller. Oh, no, Austin, that's not the play, and it's right out in front for his scoring chance.
Pretty much what I yelled in the press box. So it's funny you bring up Johnny or MJ, whatever you want to call him, Mike Johnson. And this is hard to believe that we're on national television and local radio telling silly stories like this, but Serena was with me last night. She really wanted to go to the game because the Leafs, believe it or not, are her number 2 team. And she's gotten to be real good friends with the security guys in the press box, Jonah and Eddie. And Mike Johnson walked by. And she's like, oh, there goes Rod's broman. Or whatever you call it. And they're like, what? Because they didn't know who he was. He's from Toronto. They had no clue who he was. Like, that's Rod's guy. Man crush. That's what it is. Rod's man crush is on that guy, Mike Johnson. So then later on, I saw those 2 security guys in between periods. They're like, what's your deal with him? I'm like, hey, he's my hall pass. I just love Mike Johnson. I love everything I love his work ethic. I love what he has to say. I love his look. I just think he's great. Mike Johnson, Leafs and Senators, color guy, World Juniors, whatever. He's just awesome, Mike Johnson. But anyways, back on this. As I said, we went into the rink expecting Austin Matthews to score his 70th. And, I mean, he had every opportunity to. He just didn't, so he'll try tonight in Tampa. And 2, a Leafs-Panthers round 1 preview. And it wasn't that. I mean, my guy Brent is watching right now. Brent from Wellington. He was at the game, and it was like, the Panthers just got serious in the second period. I feel like somebody told them, hey, boys, Ottawa's beating Boston right now. We got a shot here to finish first if we really get serious about it. And they just locked it down, and they became the Florida Panthers that we knew that they could be. I know this isn't Panthers television. Serena and I are taping our show later on today, the Cats and Bolts podcast. But this is why Paul Maurice told everybody to calm down, or whatever the hell. Everybody relax. He pulled the Aaron Rodgers. And I wasn't worried either, because they're a great team and he's a great coach. They'll figure it out. And they've figured it out. They're carrying a 4-game win streak into the playoffs. They're not going to play Tampa. And somebody said, was it on this show? Somebody said, who would you rather the Panthers play, the Leafs or the Lightning? And to be honest, I thought it would be easier to play Tampa. Be careful what you wish for. Our poll question for you Leaf lovers out there, of which I continue to be surrounded by them. Darren, the co-host, is a Leaf fan. Producer Clark's a Leaf fan. In Warmies, when I told you I was down watching the Leafs warm-up, I was surrounded by Leafs fans, every shape and size, age, gender. I'm like, this is what it feels like to be in hell. Surrounded by Leaf fans everywhere. I kid somewhat. But our poll question is, now that we know that the Leafs are going to play Boston in round 1, who's going to win the series? And I got to put more thought into this than I clicked Boston, which 73% of respondents did. I'm like, whoa. I need to think about this. Can I take my vote back? Because I think the Leafs might win. Boston, biggest choke job at NHL history last year in round 1. And then all they got to do is beat Washington and Ottawa, 2 ne'er-do-wells, really. They couldn't do that. What's up with Boston? I don't know, man. I think the Leafs are going to get by them in round 1. I do. Who are you voting for?
Well, I'm going to vote for Boston will win the series. That's not just me not voting against the Leafs, but also, you know, if I'm putting money down on this, I'm putting money on Boston, because until the Leafs prove otherwise, they can't get past the Bruins. Now, for people who are in my phone, and if they're watching, they'll know who they are, that, you know, and whatever, they'll say, uh-oh, this is bad for Toronto. Uh-oh, Leafs got to face the Bruins. This sucks. We've talked about this, Rod. You can't go around your problems and get where you need to go. You got to go through them. You got to solve the problem to get to the next level. The Boston Bruins are a problem. You got to solve it. You got to get past them to get to the next round. You can't go around them. They avoided them last year. That was a mistake. They're not avoiding them this year. So I think this is exactly what Toronto needs.
Every team's a problem for the Leafs, including themselves. I guess my main thing is they're a very good team. And I think they got a good coach. He got him out of round 1 last year. So who's going to be playing their best? Boston's a good team. Toronto's a good team. It is going to be a hell of a series. But again, the last I saw, 73% of respondents saying it'll be the Bruins that win. Brent, here in Wellington, says, how did Torts not know they had already been ousted before pulling his goalie? I'd love to hear what Detroit fans are saying about him this morning. Yeah, I don't know enough about that. Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, whoa, that's a sharp-looking jersey. Oh, yeah. Nelson, our VP of Sim Event, says, is that crest bubbling or nice and flat? It's flat. It's not bubbling at all. So I don't believe it's a knockoff. I don't. I think I could spot that because I've held the knockoffs before. This isn't one. And you know Thad. I sent him a picture of it after I bought it. And he goes, are you going to turn around and sell that for triple the price to Canadian fans? I'm like, I could, but no. That's how much I want it. Darren's known me now since 2015. I don't ask for a lot. You don't ever hear me say, I want this. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty simple guy. You know what I mean? I wanted this for a long time. I'm not turning around and selling it. It's legit. Even one of the Panthers owners last night responded to me buying that thing. So, yeah, I'm not turning around and selling it. So a couple things here before we move on. We got the junior hockey fans have showed up, and we will get to that. My second point was NHL tonight, but I was late. I didn't even write the games down, so we'll push that into next hour. So point 3 is baseball. Lefty Yusei Kikuchi struck out 9 in his 6 solid innings, and Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s 2-run fourth pushed the Blue Jays to a 5-4 win over the visiting New York Yankees. Kikuchi provided the Jays with a 3-run cushion after giving up only a run on 4 hits and a walk for Toronto's 4th win in a row. The Yankees have lost 3. Can I just say this? The other day, we came out of the weekend. The Blue Jays were struggling last week, and Clark was, everybody's freaking out about this. He wasn't, but he was saying the narrative in the country. Everybody's freaking out. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Remember Mike Wilner saying, if you want to freak out, go ahead. Do you feel not dumb? Because we say you do you, but do you feel like it was a useless waste of energy to get so freaked out about how the Blue Jays did in their opening 10 games of the season? Like, for the love of God, now they've won 4 in a row. Like, that'll be the day that a sports team's fortunes affect my mood. It ain't going to happen. Listen, we got a break. When we come back, we have some football news, particularly CFL, because I got to talk about Chad Kelly. We have to address the NBA playoffs for sure, and the junior playoffs as mentioned, and then a lot of NHL. We'll be right back. We're halfway through the Quick 6 show topics here on the ERP show on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients. yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
So much going on today. Thanks for making us part of your day. And our guy, Nelson, the VP of Sim Events of the RP Show, is written in and says, "You're in the clear, brother. This is no knockoff cheap jersey. It's legit." And I'm pumped that I got it. This Florida Pan. To be honest, it's not the greatest jersey of all time in the National Hockey League. It's number 3. Can we bring the Moose in? I did have this discussion with Serena in the box last night because I unfolded the jersey right on the desk in the rink. And I'm like, number 1, Chicago Blackhawks red. Number 2, LA Kings gold. You know I feel that way. Number 3, this. That's pretty good to have the number 3, and I would never buy the other 2. What's your number 1 all-time NHL jersey? Doesn't have to be your team, obviously, because those teams aren't mine.
Well, no, the Blackhawks logo is incredible. The Leafs jersey, my favorite jersey, from growing up was the white Leafs with the throwback logo kind of that they have now with the strings and the blue shoulder patches. I love that one. That was kind of late 90s, early 2000s for me, their third jersey. That was incredible. So big fan of that one for sure. That'd be my number 1.
Hey, everybody, just a reminder, reward your love of movies. I'm thinking maybe I'll go to one today. Sign up for Landmark Extras for free today. Like Bill Lindsay's wife, Carrie, said, why wouldn't you? It's a small monthly fee, and you go to enough movies, you get your money back and more. Free movies, concession items, because it all adds up. Invites to exclusive screenings, special events, and more. Just go to landmarkcinemas.com and check it out for yourself. There are 3 to choose from. And you can get the details there. And as I say, sign up as well. Couple things. I got to mention the NBA. We are daytime sports talk. I try to cover it all. LeBron James had 23 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. And the Lakers secured an NBA playoff berth with a 110-106 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. And in the Western Conference play-in tournament, Zion Williamson had 40 points and 11 rebounds for the Pelicans. Lakers open the playoffs Saturday, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Can I ask this? And trust me, junior hockey fans and CFL fans, I'm going to get to you. Do you know the answer to this? Are we going to have a Gordie Howe, Mark and Marty Howe situation where Gordie played with his sons? Could LeBron play with his kid? Is that on the horizon? Bronny James, who's entered the transfer portal but will be playing in the NBA before long. Are we coming towards this? I don't know enough about the NBA, whether we are or we aren't, but that'd be cool.
We're coming towards it, and I think that's what LeBron's planning for. I think there's part of the situation is, you know, I don't know that LeBron's necessarily on retirement's door, but he's probably in the vicinity where he'd be considering it. He's going to play long enough to get a chance to play with Bronny Jr. I think that's kind of in the cards. That's been talked about a little bit. I think it's cool, man. And he'll be a free agent. He'll go wherever Bronny signs or goes in the draft, whether it's the Lakers or somewhere else.
Well, that's the thing. I enjoy the NBA and I enjoy the MLB, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about who played well and who didn't and what coach should be fired, because that would be stupid. I don't know. I can do that about hockey and I can do that about football. That's what makes me dangerous. Which, by the way, bring me back to playoff tickets in a second. There's a very important note here that I want to get to. But just to finish it up on the NBA, the Sacramento Kings got 32 points and 9 rebounds from Keegan Murray as they dunked the visiting Golden State Warriors 118-94 in the NBA's other play-in tournament. Tonight, the Miami Heat visit the 76ers and the Hawks visit the Bulls. I'm becoming a Heat fan. Why not? I live here. But just before the show, just before we went to air today, Darren heard my phone go off. Ding, ding. I got to be careful what I say, but it's people from here that want to know if I have any inside information on when the playoff games are going to be. The Lightning and the Panthers, games 1, game 2. One of the games going to be over there. What are the times? We won't say anything. We just want to know. You know, we won't post it, but can you? Nope. This is the kind of stuff that got me in so much trouble with the leagues and teams that I worked with in Canada. So much trouble. Because I'm a people pleaser by nature. You asked, I want to afford you. Nope. Like, I don't know. I don't want to know. Too much information got me fired from the last job. Sorry, bro. I'm not going to tell you. You know, I think the only reason what saved my ass and why I'm still on the air today is that those teams and leagues knew that I had the right intentions. Right? But I have a second chance. I'm not going to burn it now. You wait until the NHL announces it. And the Panthers and the Lightning. See, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, Darren, because I screwed up everything. But I learned. So I'm not going to do it again. You get it?
Well, for sure. That's the smart way to go. You're learning. You're evolving. You know, isn't it a novel concept in today's world? But also, you know, you don't know when the games are. I don't know when they are. So when you ask me, do you know when the games are going to be? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google it. So Google it. You know, that's what I tell people. Google it. You'll figure it out.
Right. Well, and the other thing, by the way, I told you people we were going to have a fun hockey discussion today. Later on today, Serena and I are hosting the Cats and Bolts podcast. I took it as a sign from God that it's supposed to be just me and her because all my guys that I asked said no. Doug Plagens, the voice of the Panthers, was unavailable. Jeff Chikrin, golfing. Like, that's more important. And Ed Jovanovski is very busy, unable to make it. And I'm like, it's a sign from God. It's just going to be me and her. But it's go time. It's go time. It's playoff time. I get why they're not available, you know. But I didn't want the Panthers and the Lightning to meet in the playoffs at all. And if they did, I hope maybe it was the conference final down the line because we'd have the whole state involved. But no, they're meeting in round 1, and now I got fans of both teams going, who are you cheering for? I said I'm going to pull a DuPont and not pick a side. You could actually do that. I didn't know. It works, man. You've been holding out on all this. I'm not picking a side.
You've graduated the master class, I said to you before the show. You know, feels good. Congratulations. And as you said, too, you don't always have to do it, but you know what? It's good to have it in your arsenal, and it's always a great tool to be able to pull out.
The idea was that one of the two teams will probably make a long run, so we'll just jump on the train of either or. Nope. The Americans aren't dumb. They sniffed it out. Who are you cheering for? Huh? Who do you think is going to win? Huh? Tune into the podcast. Okay. For those that have shown up awaiting this for the first time since 2019, the Melfort Mustangs are heading to the SJHL final. Ryan Duguay scored in overtime 2:55 to go, and the Mustangs took down the Humboldt Broncos 5-4 in Game 7 at the Northern Lights Palace. The Melfort Mustangs will move on to take on the Flin Flon Bombers in the 2024 Cantera Seeds Cup Final, Game 1 at Whitney Forum up there in Flin Flon. I just find it a little funny that Darren and I in 2019 were broadcasting the league final in that league on province-wide television, the same channel that carries this show right now, SaskTel Max. And remember what we said? If the Flin Flon Bombers made the league final, I ain't driving. You're flying us. And the SJHL said, we'll fly you. One of our sponsors has a plane, Global Ag Risk. As it turns out, we didn't have to do that, but I hope they're flying Noogsy because he deserves it. This is the league final, right? It's only 3 rounds to get to the league final. How about that? Okay, cool. Any thoughts before I move on to the dub?
No, I just love hearing junior hockey scores. That's all. No opinions.
Me too.
No analysis, but I just love hearing about it. Makes me feel good.
Sprinkling in viewer comments because that's our special sauce here. Stephen in North Dakota writes in and says, how do you keep a monkey in suspense? Tune into the podcast. That's my joke. Brent in Wellington, Florida says, the Tahoe is gassed up and you will be at all the games. Easy answer. LOL. This is the best guy. Brent from Wellington, Florida. The guy treats me far better than I deserve. This is him. Originally from Regina, Saskatchewan. Been down here since 1997. How about that? Oh, boy. Rod, calm down. I'm getting excited with the sports talk today, Darren. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says the guy with the brand new Panthers jersey is not picking a side. Well, this is a business decision, okay? I did say to Serena before we went there, I said, I need you to pick this team because I'm picking the other team. And she's like, deal. So, can you imagine a show that actually plans what they talk about? How
about that?
John Ohm, he's up and at him in Winnipeg. He says, wow, the Leafs are not getting much respect in the poll. I don't want to go through this masterclass again today, but I've heard it about Leafs fans, obviously the Jets being called frauds. Carolina Hurricanes, somebody said, nobody's talking about Carolina. I would be happy about that if I was Carolina. If somebody called me a fraud, I would love it because then I would spend day and night trying to prove you wrong. Why? You guys got to get with it and understand it doesn't matter what the polls say. It doesn't matter what the media says, but I don't think they're ever going to get it. So I'm moving on. Igor Sedorov scored 3 goals, including the winner as the visiting Saskatoon Blades beat the Red Deer Rebels 8-5 on the dub last night to take a 3-0 series lead. They can wrap it up tonight. Meanwhile, in Swift Current, Denton Matejchuk's second goal of the game scored at 19-12 of the second period, snapped a 3-3 tie, and lifted the visiting Moose Jaw Warriors to a 5-3 win over the Swift Current Broncos and a 2-1 series lead. And out in Kelowna, Mateo Dennis scored 122 into overtime to lift the visiting Prince George Cougars to a thrilling 4-3 victory and a 3-0 series lead. And the Cougars can sweep it tonight with a win in Kelowna. So there's your junior hockey results on that. Any thoughts before we wind it up with maybe the biggest point of the day?
No, you hit it. I mean, love watching it. That Saskatoon Red Deer series, complete opposite of last year. But these playoffs are fun, man. I love junior hockey playoffs this time of year. Following it closely.
Didn't Igor Sidorov play for the Pats? He did, right? Like 3 years ago?
That's right.
Wow.
Tuzalev, sorry, yeah. Was the...
not Sidorov, okay.
No.
I see all these former Pats still... Okay, I see these former Pats playing on other teams that are still playing in the playoffs. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Pats better be good down the line, man. And, hey, the most important point for the football people and fans that showed up here today is Chad Kelly. the only thing, aside from moving towards the draft at the end of the month and the top prospects being announced today, which, quite frankly, unless you're a real diehard, isn't that exciting, this Chad Kelly stuff. The reigning most outstanding player of the Canadian Football League, Jim Kelly's nephew, as everybody will have you know, came out and dumped on the CFL again yesterday. We read it on this show, his tweet saying Caitlin Clark's due to make CFL money in the WNBA. And I think we don't have much time here. We'll have to spend more time on this next hour. But what I'm getting a kick at is all the people coming at Chad Kelly, CFL people, alum, media, going, what the hell do you mean by that? And he's not responding to them, and he's not deleting his tweet. It's like, guy, wake up. You had a comment about how he's like buried in his basement or something.
It's like he's in his basement and he hasn't opened the windows in 18 months and doesn't know what's going on in the world outside. It's a tough spot to be. Like, on the one hand, forget about everything that's gone on with Chad Kelly. Like, you're one of the best players in the league. You're on one of the best teams in the league. You won a Grey Cup and took the team, should have taken them right back to another one and all the rest, and should be a positive ambassador to the league. On the other hand, every hero needs a villain, and Chad Kelly is almost standing up and saying, I'll be the villain. And, the Argos probably don't love it at all, but I mean, he needs somebody running, managing his PR right now. It's just not in a good spot. And I feel bad because
the MVP of the league dumping on the league. Say it out loud. How is somebody not taking his phone away? Or at least had the conversation. We'll pick that up more next hour because Alum is in next. Thanks, Moose. Smoke him if you got him. We'll be right back on the Game Plus television network, Canada-wide and in 31 U.S. states. Also on the air in Atlanta, Key Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
The race for the Cantera Seats Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seats Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG. Always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
We got a lot of balls in the air today. We'll try to cover as many as we can over the next hour and a bit. We're brought to you, when we talk hockey, by Common Crown Brewing Company in Southern Alberta. Turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. I'm very happy that this guy could fit us in. Alan May, an absolute gem, and I'm going to tell you in a few moments another reason why. But Al, you're going to be working overtime, baby. The Caps have made the playoffs. Did you, literally, brother, did you see this coming?
You know, I'm kind of lucky in what I did see, and I said it on my opening broadcast this season, I said it all season long, that it would go down until the very last game of the season, whether or not they made the playoffs. And that was my way of hedging my bets, because I really wasn't all in and believing it, because this team would spike. It was just all over the place. It was so far down, they would get bounced in these games, and then they'd elevate their play, and they'd go on a little bit of a tear. I said they're like 7-game wonders, and there's 7 games of just absolute pure negative chaos in the way they play, and it was just like that all season long. But I love the fact that when they lost big, they were able to clean the slate. And I always said this in playoff games. You've seen fans over the years, how they overreact, and especially now that we have social media. Their team loses the playoff game. They get trounced. And I've been in one of those games where my team was trounced, and then we won the next 4 games of the series convincingly. But a loss is just a loss, no matter what the score. And whether it's at home or on the road, and, you know, the guys who do print media, social media, whatever you want to call it, they make a big deal out of it. But when you can get a coaching staff to get his older players and his younger players on the same page, all right, it was just a bad game. And they'd go back out and they'd be a defensive wonder. They'd be physical. So it's been crazy how they've done it, but I really think the way they pull together in these last 5 games to be all-out defense, pure physical play, shot blocks, you name it, and they earned their way in. So I heard you using the word fraud before about some teams. I don't think any team that makes the playoffs is a fraud.
Yeah, me either. And by the way, after what Florida did to Boston last year, anything can happen. The biggest upset in NHL history. And so it's Caps Rangers. That's confirmed, right? That's pretty David Goliath.
Well, it is. But the Caps this year were 2-2 with the Rangers. And they smacked them one time. They got smacked in the December 27th game. And that's the game where you're not allowed to fly in after the Christmas break, after the holiday break. You fly in on the morning of the 27th. They had a disaster of a travel day that morning. And when you've been doing something your whole life, as these athletes have, you become such a creature of habit. So you're flying in, then you've got a bus from Newark. That takes an hour sometimes. And it doesn't sound like a lot to people, but when you're used to being in a hotel bed the night before, whether it's at 10 p.m. or you're getting there at 2 a.m. From another city, then you go through that routine the next day. So it kind of messes with your routine. So I really liked how they played the Rangers this year. I love the David Goliath matchup, because I think it really dials you in on what you have to do to be successful. And the Capitals should know more than probably any team in the NHL right now what works best for them, what their identity has to be in a playoff game. And they know that they're going to have to be super focused on the middle of the ice defense, not getting in a track meet, not racing back and forth. And they've got to be all, about shot blocks, about getting a stick on a puck no matter where it's at. Back checking like you've never back checked before. And that's how they won that game in Philadelphia last night. That's how they beat Tampa the other day. That's how they beat Boston on Monday night. So their identity has to be all out, pure defensive hockey.
I hope to have you on more this spring to talk about these series. Time is limited, though, and I wanted to give you some time to talk about this. Chris Chelios was in yours and my favorite town on the weekend, Estevan, for the Bruins fundraising dinner. And did you see the story that they talked about either how did he get to the NHL or how did he explain his longevity? I wasn't clear on the question, but his answer was, Alan May and I had the same trainer. And I was like, here's that name, Alan May, popping up again, this time with Chelly. What's the story there?
So years ago, my agent, Ron Seltzer, lived in Manhattan Beach, California, and he used to thought I was too serious. He goes, you weightlift 7 days a week. You're always training. You don't enjoy your life. I want you to come out here. I'll get you a place in Manhattan Beach, and I'll find you a trainer. Well, he found me a trainer, and I walked out on the very first day. Like, the guy was so bizarre. I couldn't stand being around him. But one of my best friends from D.C., who's now my business partner in Tampa, kept telling me about this former hockey player that was training out of Gold's in Venice. And he said, he's got a couple of black belts. He was a collegiate hockey player. He's trained the U.S. Olympic judo team and maybe the wrestling team. Just like he's so far advanced from everyone. And so I reluctantly went and did a workout. It was the hardest thing I ever did. And then he showed me the plan that he had for me. So I was his first guy, his first pro athlete. He hated the celebrities, but they pay a lot. So I went in and it was that summer I went into the dressing room. I don't know if it was that. No, it was the next summer. I was in the second summer I was there. Went into a dressing room to skate with all the LA Kings guys and all the guys that skate in LA in the summer. And when I took my clothes off, the guys flipped out. They're like, they had no idea like the kind of physique I had at the time. And they're like, how is this possible? And I said, it's drug-free. I learned how to eat. And this trainer I have, so I said, you should come and work out with me. So the next day, 3 guys came and worked out with me. 2 guys we never saw in the gym ever again. It hurt them so bad. But Chelly was, I probably beat him by, if the score was, up to 10, I got a 9, he got a 1 in that first workout because it was so difficult. But I had been doing this already for 3 months. And it was so far ahead of its time and players weren't doing it. And I talk a lot of crap to Chelly while we were doing this. He's a highly competitive guy. And then we just started doing this nonstop. We had this whole thing, and we were stronger than we ever were, but I think mentally tougher. And fortunately for him, he just did it full time. I had a different role in my career. So, sooner or later, the time was going to run out on me. But old defensemen that know how to play the game and are as competitive as him. So Chelly and I did that. We've always had that bond. So I still go back to California, and when I'm out there visiting my daughter, I go train every morning with my trainer at 5 a.m. And I usually send Chelly the pictures that I'm still the heavyweight champ of all of these workouts. And been a lot of NHL players over the years that have gone and worked out with these guys, but no one did it longer than Chelly, and no one looks better than Chris Chelios at his age. He's just absolutely fantastic and an incredible guy and an ambassador for the game of hockey.
Oh, yeah. People just think that it's a coincidence. These guys look so great at their age. No. There's some work behind this, Al. And I always bring you on. I ask you questions that you would have no clue where they're coming from. And this was the latest. So I was reading that on the weekend. I'll send you the article if you haven't read it on Chelly crediting this guy that you'd worked out with as well. So, yeah. And we'll come back. Hey, your dream Stanley Cup final, if it's not Washington, who is it?
Oh, that's a tough one right now. You know what? I think there's going to be some big upsets in these playoffs and teams that have been written off. And I actually think the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to shine in these playoffs because they finally have a gritty team. They'll win the first round, I believe. But when you put me on the spot like that, it's so tough. I'm from Edmonton. I love Connor McDavid. I want the Edmonton Oilers in the finals. And I kind of wouldn't mind seeing, if it's not the Capitals, the Lightning or the Panthers. Because I think
you're close. You're close.
Yeah. Well, the Panthers, what I love about the Panthers, they are must-watch TV every night because some nights they can play like pure thugs, and I love it. I love the pushing and the shoving, the fighting, the animosity in every game, the WWE type of, antics and tactics that go on. But I just think it's so emotional the way they play. And I'm so happy that they're playing Tampa in these playoffs. I think they'll set some penalty minute records for a 6 or 7 game series. But I really do. I love watching the Panthers play because they can play any style of hockey. So I'll go with you. I want to come down to Fort Lauderdale and watch some hockey with you. So if it were the Oilers and those guys, if it's not my Caps, shocking the world, I will be down there watching some games with you.
That would be fantastic, man. Well, hey, I got to get a note into NHL Network. They were carrying the Caps game the other night, and in the intermissions, they were breaking away from your broadcast and putting their guys on. I'm like, hey, I need to see Al. Quick breaking away from these intermissions here. All right, Alan.
They drive us crazy with that. We wish we could be like they would just take our entire broadcast on those nights, but and our fan base hates it. So I love all the guys that work there, but I want our broadcast on the air all over the place.
I get it. Yeah. All right, Al. Thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the hockey.
See you, man.
Washington Capitals TV analyst Alan May. We'll be right back with a sports update and audience takeover in a moment. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
One of hip-hop's finest, Ice Cube.
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself, 'cause I'm back.
Straight into Canada tour. April 28th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I can't believe today was a good day.
Among the most influential rappers of all time, Ice Cube. On sale now at sasktix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Hey, everybody. Went a little long with Al, but that's okay. I don't know if I'll get to the actual sports update. I will read the sponsors. I got to get to the viewer comments because they are far more entertaining than the sports update. From Carlos in Indianapolis says the NBA bans Jonte Porter of the Raptors for life for gambling per Twitter. Yeah, it's all over. I got the notification. From what I understand, we're going to read more about this in the days ahead, but it's not that he gambled. It was his role in accepting bribes from degenerate gamblers, something along those lines. It'll be interesting to read. It's too bad. I would sit here and go, was it worth it? Was your career worth it? Regarding Chad Kelly and the inane things he's doing, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says if Chad Kelly's still in the CFL by Labor Day, it'll be a miracle. Let's not candy coat it. If you don't know what we're talking about with Chad Kelly, we'll talk about it next hour more, the reigning MVP of the league. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says Chad Kelly is on a wild spiral, and it is so unfortunate. Who would have thought he could perform worse than he did in the East Final? Yeah, he's not winning the offseason, let's put it that way. Utah Darren says Chad Kelly's dad must not have told him what my dad told me. Don't crap where you eat. He's dumping on the CFL. Buffalo Bill says, where did Johnny Manziel fall off the earth to? And Utah Darren says, I don't know, but he better duck because Chad Kelly's about to fall on top of him. How about that? From the text line, 902-518-3033. Trevor in Red Deer says the Leafs haven't beat Boston in a series since the 60s. I say this every year. Leafs are due, and I'm picking them in 7 against the Bruins. I'm with Al May. There's something different about the Leafs. Last night's game aside, I think they're going to beat Boston. Bradley in Calgary writes in and says, glad Philly pulled their goalie. That Washington win secured my Sports Select ticket. Thanks, Torts. From Darren in Melfort. He says, the Palace was rocking last night. Mustangs win in overtime over the Broncos. Bingo! Bring on the beasts of Flint Flon. Oh, yeah, overtime win. We mentioned it earlier, my guy. Twisted Mike writes in and says, talking about the Pats, I don't think they're going to have a good team next year either. How does the Pats go into the tank for 3 to 4 years or more when other teams improve? Oh, boy, we're back there. We're back there. We're back there as a Pats fandom. Not cool. Next hour, by the way, Kyle McIntyre will join us. He'll speak on behalf of all of Canadian Junior A. We'll continue these fun stories and a lot more of you after this brief pause on Game Plus TV, Key Radio, and streaming.
At the Key Auto Group Pre-Owned Division, we're bringing back that new car feeling. No matter what, it's new to you and priced just right. No hidden fees, prices you can trust, and upfront buying experience. And it's all at keyautogroup.ca.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The race for the Cantera Seed Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seeds Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
I'm excited. I am buying tonight, meeting a guy on the concourse at the Panthers game. I've had my eye on this for a while to buy one of those baby blue reverse retro jerseys. I thought they would have them forever and found out it was a one-season thing. Last year, it's baby blue Panthers with the red and gold shoulders, palm tree on the front. Guy said it's too big for him. I'm like, I'll take it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. Just before we bring in the Moose, as we leave the port here, that was the comment from yesterday's show, the commentary with regards to this jersey that I did purchase last night at the Panthers game from a guy. I bought it off a guy. And there's some guy just all over me that it's a knockoff jersey. You've been ripped off. I don't know. I didn't think it was. I'm happy with it. Does that mean anything? Darren said that the Leafs white. Let's bring him in. If I have this right, the 80s Leafs whites that they're wearing now, what is your favorite jersey of all time?
It was the late 90s, early 2000s. It was a third. It's kind of a combo. It's that same Leaf logo on the white, but it's got the drawstrings and the blue shoulders. It's just awesome.
Okay. For Darren, it's a Leaf jersey. For me, my favorite jersey is actually the Chicago Blackhawks jersey, the Reds. But I'm not a Blackhawks fan, never have been. The Bedard ones look pretty sweet now with his name on it. Which, by the way, Connor Bedard and Artemi Panarin had the two highest jersey sales of the year in the National Hockey League. But let me just bring it back, slow it down. I would like to ask the audience, what is the most beautiful jersey in sports to you? It doesn't have to be your team. I believe the Blackhawks jersey is the nicest in sports, period. I don't own one. I really wanted this Panthers baby blue because I love it. I mean, if it's a knockoff, that sucks, but I don't know. We compared it on the concourse with other Panthers fans last night. I'm happy. So there's that. I did not have time to get to the sports update, Darren, so if you'll please just sit tight for a second. I'm going to read it to kick off Hour 2. This is kind of what we've been talking about. Austin Matthews has his final shot at reaching 70 goals as the Maple Leafs visit the Tampa Bay Lightning in their season finale tonight. The Leafs sniper was unable to score in last night's 5-2 loss here at the Florida Panthers, leaving him stuck on 69. Meanwhile, breaking news today, the Montreal Canadiens have extended head coach Martin St. Louis' contract by 2 years, committing him to the team for the next 3 seasons. The Habs brought in St. Louis on an interim basis following Dominic Ducharme's dismissal in February 2022. I think we can all agree the Habs are going the right way, and he's a real big reason for that. And the Toronto Blue Jays can complete a season sweep of the Yankees with a win this afternoon at Rogers Center. The Jays won the first 2 games of scores by 3-1 and 5-4. It's Kevin Gausman against Marcus Stroman today. Our sports updates are brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And also for Landmark Cinemas and Landmark Cinemas right now, the movie Civil War, starring Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura. A journey across a dystopian future America following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Civil War is in Landmark Cinemas now. Okay? So that's a lot of what we've been talking about today, but there are some offshoots too. We did cover the junior hockey story, and for those that don't like it, and I appreciate Chris from the Bronx, who's been texting me saying he really is enjoying today's show. He's cracking up because he's the guy that said, when you talk junior hockey, man, you lose me. Well, if we can find a way to make it entertaining, everybody wins. And now as we're on the road to the Memorial Cup and the Centennial Cup, we're going to be talking a lot more about it. So it'd probably be a good thing if you learned. And buckle up. And any thoughts coming out of hour 1, Darren, before I take an off-ramp here?
I'm ready for the off-ramp, baby. Let's roll.
Okay, well, it is daytime sports talk. It is the view for sports fans. So 2 things. I think 6 playoff series are confirmed in the National Hockey League, and all of the Eastern ones are confirmed. Doesn't matter. We're talking about the Leafs and the Bruins with our poll question today. Who's going to win the round 1 series, Toronto or Boston? And I was in a rush to vote on YouTube. I clicked Boston. I'm like, how do I rescind my vote? Because I actually think Toronto's going to beat them for a variety of reasons. And we got a couple of weeks to talk about this. But the Bruins choked in the playoffs last year. They choked this week, trying to nail down first in the Atlantic. They're choke. And Toronto, to me, last night's game aside, they just looked like a different team. Al May said last hour it's because of the grit they've added. And I would suggest that's part of it. But Ryan Reeves just seems to be a big factor. Domi's been through the wars. They're a different team, and I like their team. So I want to rescind my vote and vote Leafs. And I won't speak for you, but you said Leafs, right?
I said Boston.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're hoping you're wrong? Or either way, you're right?
Well, no, when I said that in the first hour, like typically I don't vote against my own team because, double disappointment, at least you're going to win the bet. But I honestly, if I'm putting money down, it's on Boston because until you prove that you can beat the Bruins, you shouldn't be picked. You shouldn't be favored in the series. I have every reason to think Boston's probably going to come out on top of the series. I really, really do. I hope the Leafs can overcome, but I think it'll be a long series, but I'd have to vote for Boston.
We discovered last night, again, for everybody that just tuned in, we went to the game. Serena and I sat in the press box. Thank you, Florida Panthers. Expecting 2 things. Austin Matthews to score his 70th. Didn't happen. And expecting it to be a Leafs-Panthers playoff preview. Didn't happen. The Panthers just took off. They got back to who they were all year long. They won the game, clinched first, and now they're going to play Tampa Bay. And later in round 1, and later on today, we'll be taping our Cats and Bolts podcast, and a holy war's brewing there between Lightning and Panthers fans. And they're like, how the hell can you do a show on both teams? Well, watch us, because we are. But John writes in and says, all Canadian teams will win round 1 of the NHL. Boom.
How about
I think
that?
he's just trying to make a bold statement to cause some ripples in the water. And it worked, John. But I'm not there. We're not there. When all the pairings aren't set yet, to quote Roy Shivers, it would behoove us to make a statement like that until we know who's playing who. So just hold on. And the point, too, of the daytime sports talk thing here is what's going on in the Canadian Football League. It's on my timeline. It's on your timeline. I'm sure the CFL would prefer this not to be a thing, but it's a thing. And they came out today with their top prospects for the CFL draft this year. I don't find that interesting. Never have. I don't really find the NHL draft interesting. That's not new. I've been saying it for decades. I don't really care. 70% aren't even going to play. What is interesting is the MVP of the league coming out and crapping on the league habitually. It wasn't just one thing. It's multiple things. Chad Kelly of the Toronto Argonauts. Again, Jim Kelly's nephew. He's all that as a player. And my American football friends have said really bad things about him, even before he got to the CFL. But you know me, Darren. I'm not going to go by what they say, even if they are my friends. I'd like to find out for myself. I still haven't met him, but my gosh, is he doing a lot of dumb things. And Jen at the Four Seasons writes in, she says, I'm going to have to Google what Kelly said because I don't have Twitter or Instagram. Well, trust us. But I say the latest thing is Caitlin Clark, the it girl in sports right now. She might actually make WNBA Major League. If anybody could, it's her. She went #1 overall in the WNBA draft the other night to the Indiana Fever, but she will stand to earn $76,000 a year in her rookie season, which, by the way, ain't chump change, but it's not big league. Big league's what she made in Iowa in college, $1 million a year from her NIL deal. But the $76,000 a year, Chad Kelly retweeted this thing and said, that's CFL money. Maybe he didn't even mean anything bad by it. But the one thing, when we go from the NHL, the NFL, NBA, which is these massive entities, talking about the CFL as this intimate league, for whatever reason. Maybe it's because they only have 9 teams. I don't know why. But when people call out, guys like Mark Steven, the voice of the Stampeders, tweeted at Chad Kelly yesterday and said, what exactly do you mean by that? And why would you say that? Derek Dennis, the perennial all-star left tackle from the Calgary Stampeders, who's not in the league anymore, he's living in Arizona, went after Chad Kelly so much that Chad Kelly blocked him. So I guess Kelly is reading the responses. He videoed himself completely screwed up on substances recently, posted that. I don't know if it's still up or not. Like as Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, wrote in and said, he's spiraling out of control. And I don't have any idea what's going on behind. And above all else, he's the subject of a sexual harassment claim, which I'm sitting here defending the guy saying, can we at least let this thing play out in court before they suspend him or whatever? In the meantime, he's doing all these dumb things. So anyways, that's also going on. And yeah, what?
It's just, it's at some point, you got to the team's just got to call Bell, Rogers, whoever his phone carrier is, and just say, cut the service to the phone. Just cut the service. Shut the number down. And no, it's too bad. We joke about it, but it is too bad because here's a guy who could be, I don't want to say should be, but could be the face of the league. And nobody wants that.
He is. It's not could be. It's he is.
Well, he is now for all the wrong reasons.
No.
But
No. He was the face of the league last year before all this stuff went down. That's my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Before all this stuff went down. Right. And now, it's like he doesn't exist to the league. They'd rather he didn't exist almost. You don't want to put this guy on a poster. You don't want him to go to do charity events now. You don't want him to do anything publicly because of how 180 degrees it's really turned for Chad Kelly in the last 12 months. It's wild to watch.
Well, and I don't know any of the facts. It was 1:11 Eastern. It's not anymore. I've had people blowing up my phone to the point that I'm not answering it anymore with regards to defending Chad Kelly, crapping on Chad Kelly. I don't know what happened, but I'm like, this is a big political football. This is what people kind of forget. And I'm not even going to get it. I'm certainly not going to tell you who called or what they said. It's just a very unfortunate situation. And I would like to think, I got friends throughout that Argonauts team. Mike Pinball Clemens, obviously the general manager. Ryan Dinwiddie, the head coach, is a good friend of mine. We're together in Saskatchewan. John Murphy, assistant GM, same thing. Mike Hogan, the radio guy. I don't know if they don't know what to do. They probably don't know what to do. But I sit him down and go, what's the problem, man? What's troubling you? And probably say, if you don't sharpen up, we're going to have to cut you. The one thing I did hear last week was that the reason Chad Kelly isn't facing any discipline, it appears, is because the league doesn't want to get rid of their poster boy. I don't know if that's true or not. That's one thing I was told last week. Now, on that, Buffalo Bill writes in and says, are Chad Kelly, Johnny Manziel, and Ricky Williams among the all-time bad boys of pro football? They haven't killed anybody, for starters. Let's maybe start there. Okay? No. Number 2, Ricky Williams. I've been around a lot. He's been on this show. Was with him at Super Bowl. Ricky never hurt and never loving soul. He just wanted to smoke weed, which, by the way, is legal in most places now. That's all he wanted to do. I get, at the time, when that, look, what?
Forgot. Yeah, it's like, to whoever wrote in, you forget about Ray Rice? You forget about a lot of other guys?
Well, yeah. Knocked his wife out in an elevator on video? These guys are freaking kindergarten kids. No, not even close. But the one thing that with Ricky Williams, he was literally ahead of his time. And I swear to God, when people here in South Florida ask about our show or find this show, not the Panthers show that we do, this one, and they're like, what do you talk about on there? Who have you had on? Who have you had on that I know? Ricky Williams? They're like, I'll never forget the look on Bill Lindsay's face. You had Ricky Williams on? Nobody gets Ricky Williams. Yeah, I did. And I remember saying to him, Ricky, you're ahead of your time. You just walked away because it wasn't that important to you. He never hurt anybody. He just kept breaking rules over and over and over again. When the NFL was testing for weed, he was failed it all the time because he was high all the time. Not good, but it was his choice. And by the way, Ricky Williams led the NFL in rushing. He was a Pro Bowler, by the way. Not to get off, but I'm like, Johnny Manziel? Now, there's a waste of everything. What did he ever do? I swear to God, of note. All-time bad boy. Again, didn't kill anybody. All Johnny Manziel hurt was himself.
Yeah.
You watched the documentary, didn't you? Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's hilarious. Well, not I mean, sad. But once he finally got to Cleveland and just going, oh, I got to study film? I actually have to put work into this? Not interested. Which is also his choice. But the one thing that I know, and we're going to break, we'll come back and we'll get to tonight's NHL games. Because I'm trained in it with a flippin' diploma, intervention training, as a certified mental health coach. When Johnny said in that show, I hate the NCAA. I have a deep hatred for the NCAA. I'm like, there it is. There it is. That's your button. That's what's driving you nuts. They made billions off you and punished you for it, and that's why you're self-destructive. There it is. I'm not sure how many people have said it, but everybody's got that resentment, it was shortly after that he went to Cleveland. He's like, I'm not interested. He's still carrying it. There you go. That's the stuff you got to get over. Be a good time to take a break and come back. Oh, by the way, our breakaway bets last night, I beat you 7-4. No big deal. Just putting that out there. I don't know if you tallied it up or not, but I got. Hey, I point out when I lose too.
I know.
We'll be right back. Yeah. We got Kyle McIntyre coming up, the commissioner of the SJ. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The race for the Cantera Seed Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seeds Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, everybody, just a reminder, our daily reminder, to reward your love for movies. Why don't you sign up for Landmark Extras for free? I hope you love going to the movies as much as I do. Get more of what you love. Free movies, free concession items, invites to exclusive screenings, fun events, and more. 3 programs for you to choose from, or cheer for, to fit your active life. Go to landmarkcinemas.com for details. If we can bring the Moose in, 902-518-3033. I swear this is weird. The show's going exactly the way I hoped. It's weird.
Don't touch anything.
Talking about the day's events. Yeah, don't. If things never go according to plan. but they are. And we're just having fun talking about the day's events, and thank you for making us part of your day and your favorite daytime sports talk show. We got some good comments that have come in. We'll get back to the Chad Kelly thing in a moment. It is the CFL offseason, though. We're in the thick of the NHL dog race, and it's almost up. Just a couple more nights of the regular season, then playoffs, baby. This is interesting. Jeff's watching in the Energy City, and he says, or were the Bruins trying to get the Leafs in the playoffs? The skullduggery thoughts did come up, and it was mentioned last night, because the Leafs just immediately fell off a cliff last night. They were up 2-0 in the first period, and they just stopped playing. But that doesn't mean they intentionally do that. Teams do that all the time. Maybe the Panthers just magically woke up in the second period. And the Bruins, did they throw the game? I watched their game against Washington when they lost 2-0, and they were trying. The problem was Washington was trying more. I swear to God, man. I know there's new viewers, and Darren's called a lot of games too, but I've called thousands of games and been with teams, been in the rooms with the coaches, the players, the planes, the buses, the restaurants. I've not one time ever heard them say they were going to throw a game. It just doesn't happen. Now, it did happen long before your time in the 1980 Memorial Cup. Mike Keenan threw a game. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. He was coaching Peterborough in the Memorial Cup, Mike Keenan. He get a more favorable matchup in the playoffs, which they lost. You don't screw with that stuff, man. Hockey gods, sports gods, they will come back to bite you. I don't believe there was any of that skullduggery last night from the Bruins, the Leafs, or the Panthers. I don't believe that goes on. Do you?
No, I don't. Not at all. And I wanted to bring this up because we didn't really talk about the Wings, Capital City. I mean, you talked about Alan May, but you and I haven't. You know, that whole situation. John Tortorella and the Philadelphia Flyers knew going into the night they needed to win that game in regulation to have a chance. Yes, they needed some other things to go their way too, but they needed to win the game in regulation. He's not watching the iPad, checking score updates on the other game to find out if he should pull, letting that dictate if he's going to pull his goalie or not. He knows he's got to win in regulation, so he's trying to win in regulation. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize. I don't care. But I'm sorry that it screwed your team. If you're Detroit, if you're Pittsburgh, right? I'm sorry it screwed you. But John Tortorella didn't care about that. He cared about giving his team the only chance to make the playoffs. That was winning in regulation. So that empty net goal didn't screw your team. Your team lost, didn't have enough points to make the playoffs, period. But that was kind of wild. And we did predict that situation would happen. And, you know, the Detroit thing was fun. Back-to-back games, they score late to get into OT to win the game, to keep their playoff hopes alive. It's kind of a shame that it was all for nothing, but still a fun night.
It was a wild night, and I try. One thing I've learned, I get overwhelmed pretty easily. So I wasn't really worried about what was going on up in the Boston-Ottawa game or the Philly. I was just worried what was going on in Marin. I'll say it again. We went into the rink expecting two things. Austin Matthews to get 70 or at least try, which he tried. He didn't. And two, a Leafs-Panthers preview. And how would that shake down? And that didn't happen either. And that itself was wild enough. It was wild enough, let alone the other things. But it's interesting. I think at some point, I know there's a lot of sports people that watch this show because they blow up my phone afterwards. And I appreciate them for doing so. They get it. But a lot of the fans don't. And I've heard so much about people throwing games and stuff. By the way, this Jonte Porter thing doesn't help, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But when you do throw a game or get involved in something like that, you get your balls nailed to the wall, and you should. Because the integrity side of the game, which I'd like to think we have, you would never even consider doing that. You know? Now, on the flip side, listen to what the sports people are saying. Like this morning on NHL radio, it was like heaven for me. It was Scott Laughlin, Gord Stellick, and Elliot Friedman who was here in Florida on vacation doing an interview on NHL radio. And Elliot brought up tonight's game in Arizona being the last game ever in the Valley. And the Oilers are there. And I guess it's a hot ticket. And everybody was saying how ironic it is that a hot ticket in Arizona said no one ever. And one of the hosts said to Friedman, do you think the NHL is going to come back as an expansion team? He's like, no, I don't. Which, incidentally, I said last week, they're not going back ever. I'm just saying it the way that it is. And Friedge said it today on the radio. And you know the people are going to say, yeah, but the NHL said that they're. No, that's sure they said that. That's the business side of things. That I don't get. That's why I stay out of business. You get it. You would get it, Darren. And our business people wouldn't want to close the door. Let's just leave the door open. Because you never know if we might want to come back someday. Here's me. We're never coming back. Thanks for the memories. Bye. Just so you know, we owe it to you. Never coming back. And Elliot said, and I didn't see this, but he said the Coyotes tweeted something about it being the last game. Or I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was that the team was moving to Utah, but they left off the point about an possible expansion franchise for the Valley down the road. The Coyotes didn't even mention it. And Elliot goes, the fans don't understand there was a gag order on the team, nor how would they understand? How would they know?
I know.
They don't know how it works behind the scenes, is my point. So thanks for letting me get that. I took the long road. They're not going back. They're not going back.
Hard thing
deal
to
or
hear
no deal.
If you're a fan in the desert. I've kind of, to my detriment, I remain always optimistic. And I define optimism and, that positivity around, in any situation, I believe that there's an outcome, that you can find a way out, that it's, never closing the door. So I like to believe that, it could happen, that they'll come back. But that's just who I am. Would I be putting money on that? Probably. That would be pretty stupid to put money on that at this point, because there's been no signs that this is going to be successful, that the cities, Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix, all of the rest, that they're interested in investing and putting a new arena up, that the owner is willing to just, suck out all the money to pay for it. Otherwise, he would have built one already. They all want to work together, and they're not working together. So it doesn't look good, and it's going to be kind of a ceremonial but kind of sad night for those fans.
That's why self-awareness is a really important thing. Okay, folks, write it down. Self-awareness. While on one hand, what other people say about you or think about you is none of your business, maybe be a little self-aware. You're not the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets left in 1996 and returned in 2010. Different story. You're not that. You're nothing but a fart in the wind in Arizona. They got the Cardinals. They got the Suns. They got the D-back. You're as I was told when I was meeting with the Coyotes 5, 6, 7 years ago, Rod, we have NASCAR here. We have this. We have the college. We have ASU. And they were telling me in Arizona all the reasons why it wouldn't work. Okay? So when you're sitting there going, you don't have a ring, you crapped all over the people of the Valley, NHL, and blamed them for your own problems, you think they're going to be in a rush to welcome you back? No. You're not the Indianapolis Colts, who were in Indy, went to Baltimore, came back, if I have that right. Or was it they were in Baltimore first, went to Indy, but then they got the Ravens. The NFL came back. You're not the Baltimore Ravens. You're not the Indianapolis. You're the Arizona Coyotes. You're nothing to them. I'm sorry. The fact that you couldn't sell out a 4,900-seat arena for the last 2 years kind of tells you that, doesn't it, Darren? So I can see why they want to go tonight. But listen, I've got a ton of Canadian friends there, man. And they're not happy because they're losing their team. And they know. They're not dumb. I can name them. Jack Shaw, Sherry, I don't know what her married name is now. a lot of Canadians, they know they're not dumb. It's that whole piss on your head and tell you it's raining thing. Don't lie to me. But, it's funny. When Danny Barrett got fired as coach of the Rough Riders, a couple years later, I called him for the book that I was writing, which was commissioned by Lulu Publishing, the owners of the Hamilton Tiger Cat. And Danny did the interview with me, and I'm like, I'm a little surprised, Danny, that you do this interview with me. Shiv hung up on me. He won't talk to me. And DB's like, well, you never know. If you know the way Danny talked. You're a fan then. He was like, well, you never know. You don't want to burn a bridge. You might want to come back some. I'm like, DB, you're never coming back. Come on. And he started laughing. But that's the difference. Danny's now in Houston. Years and years and years as the assistant head coach of the Texans. Hottest team, rising team in the NFL. And where's Shiv? We don't know. Just a different approach. Oh, Moose, real quick. Tonight's breakaway bets. We only got 4 games, so it's an easy one. Toronto at Tampa. Who wins?
Toronto.
Okay, I'll go with you. Pittsburgh at the Islanders.
Islanders.
I'll take Pittsburgh. St. Louis at Dallas.
Dallas.
Ooh, me too. And Edmonton at Arizona.
I'll take Arizona.
Yeah, the Oilers are going to be laying down in that game. I don't care what anybody. We know you guys got to win your last ever game in there. We'll just give it to you. They'll be starting the stick boy at center ice starting lineup. Okay, Moose. This has been a lot of fun. Right. Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Kyle McIntyre is coming up next. The Commish. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
One of hip-hop's finest, Ice Cube.
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself, 'cause I'm back.
Straight into Canada tour. April 28th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I can't believe today was a good day.
Among the most influential rappers of all time, Ice Cube. On On sale now at sasktix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey everybody, time to talk a little junior hockey. I love it. For the first time since the 2018-19 season, the Melfort Mustangs are heading to the SJHL final. Ryan Duguay finished off a well-worked power play move with the winner, 2:55 into overtime. The Melfort Mustangs took down the Humboldt Broncos 5-4 in Game 7 of the Northern Lights Palace. They move on to face the Flin Flon Bombers in the Cantera Seeds Cup final starting Friday night at the Whitney Forum in Flin Flon. And here to talk about that playoff, and he doesn't know it yet, but all of Junior A hockey in Canada, is Kyle McIntyre, our good friend, the commissioner of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Commish, welcome back to the RP Show. How would you describe these playoffs so far to people that hadn't heard or didn't know how it's gone?
Good morning, Rod. That's a great question. I would say that we have extreme competitive balance in the playoffs. Even though some of our series went 4-0, the scores in the games were extremely tight. Teams are fighting for every inch. Anyone can win on any given night. The last series we saw with Melfort and Humboldt, in fact, had 10 overtime periods, ended in a Game 7 in overtime. Really, that series could have went either way. The rinks were jam-packed. We had lots of fan support. We had lots of community support. Players were battling for every inch. And for the most part, the officials let the players play. And so very entertaining hockey, very emotional, very engaging. Flin Flon has been waiting in the wings for the winner, and they got Melfort. And the two best teams from the SJHL are going to be in the final.
Two best teams left standing now for sure, and everybody vying for a spot in the Centennial Cup in Oakville, Ontario, coming up later this spring. You mentioned the communities. You travel to them all as the commissioner. Give me a sense of what you've seen and what you've felt from when the playoffs began to now.
Well, obviously, throughout the season, we had pretty good average attendance, Rod, probably around 680 fans per game. But probably during the playoffs, it brings out a whole different group of people who maybe are season ticket holders that don't go to all the regular season games. But probably on average here, the last two rounds of playoffs, we've been averaging 1,500 to 1,600 fans per game. And as you know, a number of our communities are smaller communities in Saskatchewan. And so when you're putting 1,500 or 1,600 people in a rink, those rinks are jam-packed. There's cowbells, there's air horns, there's clappers, there's signs, there's jerseys, there's flags. Everyone is really engaged. The entire communities are engaged with these teams. When teams are going to visit another team on the road, there are parades down Main Street. There's fans standing on the street corners. This is really what playoff hockey is really about. And in Saskatchewan, people love their hockey. And in our communities in the SJHL, people love the SJHL championship. So it's been awesome. The rinks are electric. They're loud. I'm sure after the playoffs, I'm going to have to go for a hearing test. Really engaging, very fun to be a part of, just super electric.
I'm glad I asked. It's a great answer, and it's like a dream job for you, obviously. I got to, hopefully we have enough time to get through all my questions here, because I got a few. Kindersley and Weyburn are new to the playoffs. Melville, too. That's nice. Nice to have some markets that haven't been in for a while.
Yeah, it was great. Like really, Melville this year, the fans really came back. When the team is competitive in Melville, Melville, as you know, Rod, is a hockey community, and so they came back in droves, and it was really exciting to see them back in playoffs. Probably since the first time since the play-in 2018. It was great having Kindersley back, although albeit for 2 home games. That West Central Event Center was absolutely electric. Probably average about 1,200 fans. There are air horns. It was loud. It was raucous. It was tough to hear yourself think. And so that was super good. Weyburn, of course, Cody Mapes had Weyburn in the playoffs for the last 2 years. And again, normally that rink probably draws around 500 or 600 on a weekend. But in the playoffs, you're looking at 1,100 people. So playoffs, really, the attendance intensifies. More people from the community come out. Parents, fans from the opposition, they come to those games. And so really, playoff hockey is what everyone in Saskatchewan loves, and it's well supported. It's awesome, and it's been terrific hockey, to be totally honest.
It's interesting you say Weyburn's second straight year in the playoffs. Sure, I mean that's my second hometown, Weyburn, but this year was more exciting, from what I understand. That the whole city was engaged, going to a Game 7 against Humboldt and so forth, which is fantastic. Now, I got to ask you a question off the board, but you can handle it. You're a smart guy. I can't imagine the weird off-the-wall questions you must get as commissioner. And I'll give you a reason why I ask. I do this podcast on the Panthers and the Lightning. It's become very popular in Florida. And now they're playing each other in the playoffs, and people are up in my face since last night. Who are you cheering for? And I'm like, I'm like the dad. I don't want anybody to get hurt, and I want a great series. You must get that all the time, Commish. Who are you cheering for? Do you get that from fans?
Yeah, so that is you're totally right, Rod, and that's always the question of there. Who you cheering for? Well, what are your predictions? Well, I predict the very entertaining final, or I predict a very good series. And as the commissioner, you want to see hockey that's competitive. You want to see hockey that's decided between the teams by a good hockey play. You don't want to see the officials, although they're super important. You don't want to see them make a call that maybe is the difference maker in a series or in the game. And so certainly you try to be neutral. You want to make sure that fans are engaged, but they're being respectful. And although the teams compete hard inside the glass for 60 minutes, you want to make sure that, people are professional to one another. They're competitive, but they're playing within the rules and within the lines. And so really what I want to see is competitive hockey. I want to see hockey ended on a skilled play. You want to see some physicality. You want to see the passing. You want to see the speed. You want to see the skill. And certainly all the games I've been to, Rod, those games have featured all of that for sure. It's been awesome hockey.
So who are you cheering for, Flin Flon or Melfort?
How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's tough to pick. There's not much of a difference between those two teams. Each team has different strengths and different elements. When I look at Melfort's lineup, the line of Clay Sleva and Aiden Hutchison and Ryan Duguay and James Van in goal and Olofsson on defense and Chase Fried-Moore, that's a 5 that very few teams can probably match in a league. And then, you look at Flin Flon on the other side, they got Laser Human goal, and he's a pretty good goalie. And, they got on defense, Noah Houle or Adam McNutt. And then up front, they got the Lies brothers and, Carter Anderson. Like, it's going to be great hockey. I cannot predict. I think home ice will have a really big effect in the series, but probably whoever is healthiest and whoever is game ready, Rod, is gonna win that series.
I didn't expect you to even answer it. I was just joshing you more than anything. But because I follow it incredibly closely, Flin Flon was number 1 for 35 of 37 weeks. Flin Flon was number 1 in the national rankings, and just near the end, they were number 2 based on winning. This is clearly the Bombers are the favorite, right? I don't think anybody's surprised to see them in the league final.
Right. And, and Mike Reagan, as you know, has been at it a long time, 17 years. And Flin Flon really hasn't had a championship since probably 93, I think it is. And so the people of Flin Flon are certainly hungry for a champion. And although as much as Mike Reagan would like to hoist the Cantera Seeds Cup, I'm sure there's lots of pressure on Mike Reagan's shoulders these days. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be televised on Flow Hockey and on SaskTel Max. And so the people of Saskatchewan are going to be able to watch that game and see the SJHL's Elliot Friedman, Jamie Nugenbauer, and Rory McGoran call the game, and it's going to be awesome. And certainly, if you can't tune in to SaskTel, tune in to Rob Hart, the legendary broadcaster for the Flin Flon Bombers.
I was going to say, let's get Rob Hart a ring. Forget about everybody else. Let's get Rob Hart a ring. If there's anybody that deserves it, it's him, the voice of the Flin Flon Bombers and my old buddy from way, way, way back PA days. And, hey, you got a beautiful arena there in Melfort, which literally looks like the day that it opened. They've done such a great job maintaining that. And then the Whitney Forum, which I've never been, and God willing, I won't. But people can tune in, like you say, on television to have a look at that legendary arena. That's just a fantastic matchup there, too.
The arena in Flin Flon, the Whitney Forum, it's like a cathedral, Rod. It's half museum, it's half hockey rink, it's half biblical in nature. Like it's so steeped in tradition, and although there's been upgrades, like there's probably not another junior A hockey environment like the Whitney Forum, and known affectionately as the zoo, and truly it is. And in these playoffs, I mean, I'm not sure what it's like in Florida, but a lot of fans have started taking these cordless drills and taking out the innards and either putting in a compressor or wiring in car horns and truck horns into the drills. And so certainly Flin Flon Director of Marketing Jacob Faith and I were up there a couple weeks ago for the Battlefords versus Flin Flon, and there must have been 100 of those drill horns in the crowd. Like, it was absolutely so loud, and the fans are loud there to begin with, and they're right on top of you, and so it's a junior hockey atmosphere like no other.
They're going to be running out of moose legs. Well, I will say to you what I said to my dad when he called me from Flin Flon, then when they were honoring Bobby Clark and Reggie Leach. He said all the same things you just did. I said, I'll take your word for it. Kyle, safe travels. Have a great series. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Rod. And you enjoy the playoffs in Florida. That's going to be an absolute corker.
Absolutely. Thank you. The Commissioner, Kyle McIntyre. Always fun junior hockey discussions, particularly when it comes to the SJ. We'll be right back with overtime after this. Got some breaking news out of the NBA that's not too good, depending on which side of the cookie you're on. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
The race for the Cantera Seed Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seeds Cup on Flow Hockey TV. The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Yes, it's overtime. It's overtime for our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, 28th Street Northeast. Big hockey fans there. And as you can tell, we're big hockey fans here. Check them out where skill and fun collide. Tell them the RP show sent you. I see that you got a blast of hockey weather there again in Calgary, so why not go take it inside? Take it inside and check out all the fun to be had in an amusement park for hockey players, as I say, Overtime Hockey Lanes. And by the way, I have nothing against Flin Flon. I have something against the drive. When I said, I'll take your word for it, that Flin Flon's a cathedral, it's so great, it's this. Sure, fly me there. When we were doing the 2019 SJ Finals, I have no problem at all. That drive, I've heard from so many hockey fans that have almost lost or hockey people, fans and coaches and players that have almost lost their lives on that highway. No thanks. Breaking news out of the NBA. It has banned Toronto Raptors two-way player Jonte Porter for life after a league probe found he disclosed confidential information to sports bettors and bet on games. Porter gave a bettor information about his own health status prior to Toronto's game on March 20th. The league said another individual, known to be an NBA bettor, placed an $80,000 bet that Porter would not hit the numbers set for him in parlays through an online sports book. That bet would have won $1.1 million. Porter is the second person to be banned by Commissioner Adam Silver for violating league rules. The other was now former LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling back in 2014. But Sterling wasn't for gambling. That was bad enough. And they're not fooling around with this. And as they say, have you watched the show Louisiana Law yet, where they follow the Louisiana wildlife officials with a camera? They say, if you're doing wrong, we're going to find you. So anybody that's working in sports right now, don't bet, don't have anything to do with betting, get the hell away from betting. Do you hear the sirens? They're not coming for us, I don't think. Here's an interesting one. Nathan McKinnon seems to be the front runner to be the Hart Trophy as the NHL's MVP. But Colorado's top center is far from a lock, with Tampa Bay's Nikita Kucherov, three-time and reigning MVP Connor McDavid, and Toronto's 69-goal scorer Austin Matthews among the other top options. The Norris Trophy for the best defenseman is a three-way race between Colorado's Cale Makar, Vancouver's Quinn Hughes, and Nashville's Roman Josi. And Connor Bedard, according to this, is no shoe-in for the Calder as Rookie of the Year, given the season Minnesota defenseman Brock Faber is having. Yes, he is. Sports update is for Landmark Cinemas, where Wednesdays, that's today, right? are made for movie twosomes. But you don't have to be Jack and Rose or Han and Chewie or Mr. and Mrs. Smith or even Kermit and Miss Piggy to get 2 admissions, 2 medium fountain drinks, a large popcorn, and your choice of candy for one great low price. But you will need a date or a friend because this deal is worth sharing. Landmark Cinemas Movie Twosome every Wednesday. Check your favorite Landmark Cinemas for showtimes. And we're also brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And the time we have left, 902-518-3033. Trying to discern whether this jersey I bought last night is a knockoff. And again, my thought was that it's not. Some are saying it might be. Blair in Calgary is watching, writes in. He says, hello, Rod, about your jersey. Is there a Canadian flag on the back collar? I believe game jerseys are made in Canada. Do you know anything about that, Clark? I love this, like, 4th logo. Yeah, I'm not unsure about that either. Seems legit to me. And by the way, I've got legit jerseys that aren't in the best shape either. So whatever. I'm happy with it. We're good. Kelvin writes in from Saskatoon. He says, I don't know if this has been brought up before. Is the Leafs' curse in the playoffs? The team that has eliminated the Leafs in the last 7 years didn't win the Stanley Cup that year. The team that has eliminated the Leafs didn't win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, that has not been brought up by us. There is all that history until there isn't. And I think Clark said the Leafs will sweep. Are you sticking with that, Clark, or are you being facetious? He's not sticking with that. He's not being serious. It's a serious time of year, folks. Very serious. Enjoy the hockey. We'll do it all again right here tomorrow, noon Eastern.
Who has more fun than us?